Hi everyone, Eric Nelson here once again, and thank you for tuning into my YouTube channel. For today, I will be doing another book review on Ji Ping Ang's 10,276 in 2 Months, a Facebook romance. Now, as I said in the opening, yes, this is a Facebook romance, and you're probably wondering, oh, haven't we seen that before in our very own daily lives? Well, yes, you have, but since this is a novel and since a very talented writer has put a lot of time and effort into creating what I think is a familiar romantic a, novel with by the way a lot of uniqueness. I think you should actually give this a look see because not only does it deal um, with a familiar genre of love, I'm sorry, it which it delivers a familiar genre of romance, but it also has, as I said before, a lot of uniqueness. And where that uniqueness is actually centers around the actual characters. And in this romantic tale, it centers around a screenwriter who lives in London by the name of Mark Fallon, and he stumbles across a, a, a woman who is a mother of a few children by the name of Lim Xin Yan, and she lives in Singapore, and once they develop a relationship over Facebook, he learns that Lim is an aspiring romance novelist, and since he's a screenwriter, he actually sort of gives her, like he actually gives her pointers, and then as he gives her more and more direction on how to create a romantic tale, they actually start to develop, well, not really alter egos, but she sort of creates her own story based on the romance that she has with Mark Fallon over Facebook. So once that happens, a second story develops uh, in the main part of the story. So as you get into that part of the novel, you really have to pay attention because if you do, I mean, I'm not saying that that it's easy to like fall into a state of confusion when reading this book, but if you really pay attention and know who is who, then you'll see where all of these connections are, where or I'm sorry, when you really pay attention, you'll see the connections between Mark Fallon, Lim Ji Ian, and their alter egos, which are the romantic leads in their own story. The story within the story. Now without giving now now without giving too much away, I do want to say that it didn't really it really didn't bother me a lot that Lim was actually married, and she was sort of I mean, not fully cheating on her husband, but I don't know. I mean, since I sort of didn't like the romantic or the classic romantic film From Here to Eternity, I mean, well, maybe I'm comparing apples and oranges, but aside from my own personal problem with it, I think it's a great tale. And yes, it is it actually, and yes, it does begin as an online romance, sort of like the classic film You've Got Mail, but it's actually, I'm not saying it's more realistic, but you kind of feel like these people have a lot of great have uh, a lot of great common ground in between them, and they also have a lot of great uh, chemistry. Yeah, I felt like Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan in You've Got Mail were sort of like only flirting, but with Mark and Lim, they actually have a lot of great chemistry, and they even acknowledge it. And sometimes I even wonder why Lim was sort of was actually married to her real husband, because from the scenes that I've read with Lim and her husband, they really didn't have a lot of great chemistry. But that's just my own personal opinion. But my other personal opinion about this book is that it's a really great book, a great romantic tale, and hopefully when people read this book, I hope that it will help people realize that if they are just in a romance that only exists on the internet, that and if it's not similar to this romantic tale, he or she is probably not the one for you. So you can get this book on your Amazon Kindle like how I did, or anywhere else, and I hope to see you all at the bookstore or the iBookstore.